Welcome. Important show today. It should be one of the most wholesome drinks for you and your kids, apple juice. But we have discovered that apple juice can contain arsenic. Yes, arsenic. We launched an extensive investigation, testing dozens of samples from 3 different cities across America. We sent them to an independent lab for sophisticated, state-of-the-art testing. Now, our results are in. Some of the best-known brands in America have arsenic in their apple juice. And today, we are naming names. So how can arsenic get into the apple juice? Here's what you need to know.
The apple, healthy and pure. It's as American as, well, you know. Since the days of Johnny Appleseed, the apple has been the symbol of America. And apple juice, after milk, is often the first drink you give your kids. But could this seemingly innocent favorite pose a threat to our nation's children? The apple juice you and your family drink may contain arsenic, a poisonous metal known to cause cancer and potential IQ problems. So, how does this potentially deadly poison make its way to your family's refrigerator? It starts 7,000 miles away in China. Apples harvested from Chinese orchards are sprayed with pesticides that contain arsenic. Those apples are pressed, then turned into concentrate, ultimately becoming the juice we drink. But China isn't the only threat. Tainted juice is also coming through countries including Argentina and Brazil, crossing our borders without regulation. So why are we allowing this juice into the U.S.? We decided to conduct our own investigation to see if your juice makes the grade.
Let me be clear, we're not talking about apples or applesauce. We are focusing on apple juice made from apple concentrate. If you think that doesn't matter to you, you are wrong. Apple juice concentrate is in juice blends and punch. It's in candy and cereals and cookies and cakes and even the snack bars that are sold as healthy because they are sweetened with apple juice instead of refined sugar. So I'm standing up for all of us here, and I'm surrounded in particular by parents who want answers now. Now here's the first shocking thing we learned in our investigation. Most apple juice is not all American. So here's why this matters. Let me show you why it's so important to understand how arsenic can get into the apple concentrate that we're bringing in from other countries. So let's say you go to a faraway land. Let's say you're in China. The water supply in many of these countries, including China, has different amounts of arsenic in it, sometimes more than we're allowed to have in our country, but it's naturally found there. So that's something that we're going to have to expect. But in addition to the naturally occurring arsenic in the water supply, when you give pesticides to fruits, including apples, and you spray them, if there's arsenic in that product, you're going to get that arsenic in the apple juice concentrate that you harvest. So now you have 2 sources of arsenic combined on these apples. Now, step 2 is you take the apples and you squeeze them. You press out the juice from them in order to make the apple concentrate. This apple concentrate is put on ships or trains and brought to this country. And as it comes to the U.S., we take that apple concentrate off the boat. We then mix it with our water, which again, we have a little bit of arsenic in our water. We're allowed to have a little bit of arsenic in our water. But when you combine those 2 together, you end up with your box of apple juice, which theoretically shouldn't have a lot of arsenic in it. So these 4 steps combined together create some angst for me. Because now I have begun to realize, and I'm sharing this with all of you right now, that we may have a problem with how much arsenic is in the apple juice that we have in our food supply. Now, the EPA, very wisely, has a limit on the amount of arsenic we're allowed to have in our drinking water. But guess what? There is no limit on arsenic in apple juice. Can you imagine that? This is what we're going to focus on today, because we need some answers. You all deserve some answers. So Patty Levera from Food and Water Watch is one of the consumer groups that went on to investigate this. And Patty, just give us an inkling here. What the heck is going on?
Well, it is outrageous. You're right. And parents and all consumers should be outraged. And FDA not only doesn't have a standard when it comes to imports, they only look at less than 2% of imported food when it comes into the United States. So we've seen product after product from China, whether it's tires or toothpaste or toys with lead paint. And now when it comes to food, we need to worry about that as well. And FDA is not up to the job.
2% are inspected?
Of imports from processed foods, produce, and seafood.
And does your hair just stand up when you hear that? I mean, doesn't it bother you? Dr. Russell Greenfield is author of Healthy Child, Whole Child. And Dr. Greenfield, what is the government saying about arsenic in juice? I mean, they're parents too. They must be seeing this and feeling this.
Well, unfortunately, they're saying very little. In general, they're saying, don't worry about it. Well, you know what? I worry about it. The levels that should be permissible in our juices for our children should be close to 0. It should be even less than what we're talking about with regards to water. And the plain fact of the matter is the Environmental Protection Agency, the OSHA agency, all these governmental agencies have done a wonderful job of limiting exposure to arsenic. The FDA needs to step up to the plate. We need to fund them better so they can do a better job of protecting our children.